Hi, welcome back to Fritz on a Budget. I'm Fritz, and this is another episode of Tone on a Budget. Today we're going to be talking bass guitar, and a lot of it. But not a lot's going to go into this. Why? Because I built a pedal board with just a preamp, a tuner, gain, and an EQ. What's so special about it? Let's find out. Okay, so what I'm doing today is I'm modeling a bass sound that's typical to most of the biggest songs in rock and metal from, I guess, the 70s till now. It's kind of more towards the vintage end of it. I like my vintagey sound, so I'm going to go with that. A lot of the classic rock to the early metal and some of the 80s and 90s rock as well went with a lot of similar sounds. A lot of it is distorted bass. I try to use just enough gain where it starts to break up. That's usually my safe zone. But a lot of bassists, if you notice, if you look up on YouTube and other places, there are isolated bass tracks. And these tracks all have, I'd say at least 99% of all bass tracks for any hit that you and I have ever heard has been with a pretty gainy or distorted bass. So we'll play some clean tones and we'll play some dirty tones and we'll try and find our sweet spot in the middle. Let's give it a whirl. Okay, so I put together a quick bass pedal board. Here's what we got. The Amazon Basics tuner. I believe I got that for about 30 bucks. This Distortion 3 from Rowan, which was about 25 bucks. This went for about $35 to $40. This is the V-Tone Bass BDI 21, which is a Behringer unit. And we got a Kaleen EQ I got for approximately 40 bucks. Somewhere between 35 and 40, I don't recall. I'm going to hook this up to a little bass rig I got going on with a 110 cabinet. That's an O'Hara Moneymaker 110. And we're going to go right ahead and test out some of these tones. Okay, we have the pedal board now fired up. And I'm sure I can tuck those wires away a little bit better, but this isn't a gig situation. This is just a get it done so we can hear it situation. Okay, so what we got here is a Amazon Basics tuner, which actually seems to work pretty good. Little slower than a lot of tuners out there, but it's better than most of the ones I got. This thing's actually really good for the money. I think it was 30 bucks. Right next to it we got a $25 Rowan Distortion 3, which is pretty cool. I only use it for a touch of drive, and we're going to go over that in just a moment. We got a bass BDI 21 here, V-Tone Behringer, which really smooths it out. It's kind of a rip-off of the Sans amp. And an EQ to get rid of some harsh tones. So we're just going to start with our basic sound. Here's just my dry, straight-in sound. I got my tone and my volume up on the neck pickup of a Yamaha Motion bass. Now, let's go ahead and put some preamp on. So what it does is it seems to push the signal out as it normally sounds, but it gives it a little bit of a high-end and low-end preamp where it seems to be compressing the highs and the lows, because when you hit it real light, you still have nice low end. So there's a little bit of compression on those certain high and low frequencies. Everything else is just bone dry and dynamic. So the low end doesn't drop out when you're doing low stuff, low volume. We do this. And the low end just isn't there at the low volumes like that is when it's on, and it smooths it out, and it keeps it also from jumping out too loud. You run through one of these, and every front of house sound man will love you. So what I do is let's start with this off. Give it a little classic vintage gain with the preamp. So it's not really a dirty sound, it's just a gain-driven sound. And let's just get rid of some of those harsh frequencies. Now this is, although I am using a little bit of a rat on there, this is my clean sound. I don't really want to go too much more distorted than that on a bass, but you really got to use some from what I'm learning, especially on recordings. Raw dogging, it's pretty good. But too much sticks out. So yeah, I mean, you want a little more low mid. Oh, that sounds good. This is pretty much my favorite on-stage sound. It's good for just about everything. Not just vintage punk. I don't see how it sounds with the fingers. Anyway. It kind of has a nice little grind to it, but if you really want to go nuts, you can add a little more drive. It's going to get a little louder. You'll have to adjust your volume. I like this. A little too much without the EQ. This is actually a pretty good sound for recording. Because it's got all the frequencies. It didn't really drop out. This might take away some of the bass, a lot of people would think, the quote-unquote rat clone. But what it is, it's a lot of highs and mids added to the gain stage, but not a lot of lows. So you don't really, it seems like the lows drop out. Then it goes through this and it doesn't matter. So now you're going through an EQ and you're taking off any lows that you don't want, and you're adding things that may have been lost in the sauce if you need it. Oops, shit, son of a... Okay, so anyway. This is actually a pretty good start. For a high gain bass sound, it actually works pretty good. So yeah, you can get pretty rude with that. And if you want to go clean, you can do that. Let's see this one. Now that's a very tony sound. It's got a lot of tone with it. Right when the gain really starts to kick into a distortion sound, there's a high mid that kicks in. It's like, it's the attack without all the clank. And that's tone and volume all the way up. Now this sound, I've been recording a lot with this particular gain setting, and I absolutely love it. So this is kind of, when I'm doing a rock bass thing, I'll do this, and then if I need to sweep the mids or if I need to add something, I can always do it later on. But this sound is pretty tame, and that's pretty much how it sounds going straight in. So there's no switching going on. This is just dynamics. Well, I hope this bass pedal board helps you out. I've been using this for quite a while for lots of applications, from rehearsal to live shows to even playing live on TV. Yeah, that even happened. It's there. Everything you need out of it is there. Just use your ear, little ingenuity, and you can get whatever sound you want. So if you like what you've seen today and I helped you out, saved you a couple of bucks, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and hopefully save them some money too. We'll see you next time. I'm Fritz. This has been Tone on a Budget.